the people of sake actually brought me into sake.
Back in 1988, this place was actually in Ginza on the main drag.
At first it was kind of soy sauce, it was miso.
To the point where it actually changed my life.
New Year's Day 1989.
Not just sake as a beverage, but all the culture and history.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sake on Air, the world's first podcast dedicated to expanding the dialogue surrounding Japan's iconic beverages, sake, shochu, and of course, awamori. My name is Sébastien Lemoine and one of your regular hosts, and today I'm joined by Imada-san, who will be co-hosting with me, and together we'll be exploring or discussing how to enjoy izakayas. How are you doing, Imada-san?
Fine. This is the first time I think I'm on the mic, especially as a host.
But we do need you for this one. And I'm very happy that today we're recording from the GSS Information Center, located at the heart of Tokyo near Toranomon, because it hasn't happened for a while. And it's one of the best places in town to discover sake culture.
That's true. And it's relaxing here. It's a nice atmosphere, although outside of here is very cold, chilly Sunday morning.
Absolutely true. And this episode is, when preparing this episode, we've thought in particular of foreign visitors visiting Japan. Mm-hmm. And so beside izakayas that we're going to discuss, we hope that you will put the GSS Information Center on your destination list as well. So, what are izakayas? Unlike restaurants where the focus is on eating, izakayas are at the core of Japan's drinking culture. And that's a place where people enjoy snacks while drinking alcohol. We're going to examine the nature of this unique drinking place for Japanese and the characteristics of the Japanese drinking culture compared to other countries. In reality, the term izakaya covers a very wide range of establishments, from historical and authentic izakayas to standing bars or Western-style izakayas, chain restaurants, and it can be defined as an establishment where people enjoy snacks while drinking alcohol. On the other hand, as most people will know, there are lots of other establishments such as sushi restaurants, soba restaurants, eel restaurants, oden restaurants that basically focus more on food. But of course, they allow people to enjoy food as snacks to go with their drinks as well. I think that the key to enjoying an izakaya at a high level is to skillfully choose and make use of these different establishments depending on the situation.
Okay, and traditional izakaya with a long history usually have some, regular customers. So newcomers can be a little cautious when they want to enter the izakaya. So we'll consider the etiquettes when entering such establishments and tips for having a pleasure stay there. Izakaya also have many unique menus items that differ from those found in restaurants. So we will explain some of the most popular items, talk about how to eat that deliciously, and what kind of alcohol pairs well with them. Through this episode, we hope to help foreign tourists visiting Japan understand that there are two types of establishment in Japanese food culture. One is food-centered establishment, and another one is an alcohol-centered establishment, and spark their interest in the culture of going out to drink rather than going out to eat, and encourage them to actively explore izakaya through this episode.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And before we get into the details of that, nature in Japan can be pretty wild, and every year brings its catastrophes. And this year, actually about a week ago, the Earth started moving again in Aomori. There have been a couple of pretty violent earthquakes there. And we have some reports of damages at breweries. Nothing major at the moment, mostly repairs and monies to be spent, but we'll of course have to get ready, feel ready for other earthquake possibly in the future.
That's true. This time's earthquake is not as bad as the one occurred in Noto Peninsula some years ago, but still, it's the coldest time of the year, so it's really harsh for the people to live through.
Actually, since we're talking about the current weather and season, if you were to go to an izakaya, what sort of seasonal dishes would you like to enjoy at this time of the year?
Yeah, for us Japanese, when winter comes, we just imagine about having oden or nabe, hot pot, is the best thing to especially if you think about drinking sake.
How do we define oden? I mean, oden are basically fish cakes, vegetables, sometimes meat, cooking it in a hot.
Yeah, it's kind of hot pot. Yeah, but mainly they use a mashed fish, which is deep fried. Yeah, and simmer in a pot for a long time. It's really with dashi. So it's a very soy sauce oriented dashi. So it's very Japanese taste.
It's a very interesting culture as well, oden, because it's not like the restaurants will do a new dashi every day for their oden, and many of them take a real pride in the age of their dashi. I mean, there is this small place in Shibuya where the owner from Shizuoka says that the matrix of this of his dashi goes back a couple of generations.
Really?
Of course, they're adding water and new dashi regularly, but they will not throw away the dashi and keep it concentrating more and more flavors as time go by.
Yeah, that kind of thing often happens for the sauce for yakitori and unagi kind of thing, that they use it for generations as well. But, it's rare to listen to that kind of dashi for oden though. But oden has a very, versatile, varieties, regionality. And Shizuoka oden is one of the thickest type of dashi, so can be happened for Shizuoka.
It's a very very tasty preparation for sure. I mean, I like this is Shizuoka type oden.
You like it?
Yeah.
Good.
Let's talk about Izakaya's history a little. I mean, Imada-san, what do you want to share with us?
Sure. Today's topic is about izakaya, and to understand about izakaya, I think we have to look back how izakaya have started historically. So I would like to look back and talk a little bit about izakaya's history. The birth of izakaya is said to be in Heian period in 8th or 9th century, but it's only after the middle of Edo period, which is 18th century, which when the ordinary people starts to enjoy drinking outside sake. The era before Edo period is quite unstable. We call it a war period, and there are always small wars happening all around Japan. But after the Tokugawa have settled Edo era, Japan becomes stable. And before Edo period as well, sake was kind of thing which is a little too expensive for the ordinary people to drink. So only the higher positioned samurais and royal people can drink sake. But after Edo, because the country becomes so peaceful after Edo, the industry have developed, and people get more.
Yeah, I think the relationship between food and fun and is very strong. I mean, you need food to survive, but enjoying food require a climate, an atmosphere where.
Right. In a peaceful world, people enjoyed food, not just to live, but enjoy the life, right? And also in Edo period, historically, the third generation of Tokugawa shogunate have started a national isolation policy.
So
as
that's
you know,
from 1637, if I
yeah,
remember well.
well, you well know. So, and it lasts for like 200 years. So because of that, Japan didn't have a cultural influence from outside of the country. And that leads to the very unique culture of Japan as well. So Izakaya have started at that time of the era. And maybe you don't know about this, but the number of the men and women ratio of Edo period was very, very typical. There were more men than women. We said about 2/3 of the population of Edo was men. Do you know why?
Well, my understanding is that Edo was a city of samurais, and you had so many daimyos or feudal lords that had to stay in residence in Edo for some time, and when they would go back to their castle in Japanese countryside and run their clan there, but when they were traveling, when they were coming to Edo, they were traveling with their samurais, and of course the ladies would stay behind.
That's true. That's true for the samurai period. But that's not only samurai, which was, living in Japan. I mean, in Edo, but there are also many ordinary people, or men ordinary people, and because Edo is constructing lots of roads and infrastructures, and they need lots of labor. And there was lots of job in Edo. So many people from outside Edo came to Tokyo Edo to find a job there. That's why there are lots of laborers working, men laborers.
Yeah, few people know that the Edo castle was actually on the beach, literally, back in 1600.
That's true.
And
So
the whole
landed.
Edo city is built from or on reclaimed land. So
That's true.
These are the words
That's
you're
true.
thinking of. Yeah.
Lots of buildings had to be done there.
I live near Kagorazaka, and so I near need the moats that were dug or constructed back in the early 17th century. And there are it's roughly 5 kilometer moats between Idabashi and Nagatacho today, I will say. And I understand that this 5 kilometer moat was built in about 3 months. That means that it involves tens and tens of thousands of workers.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You need so many people there. So there are lots of people living in Edo, and and Edo region was not as wide as nowadays. So the household is really small there. They're mostly living in the house called Nagaya, which is very small. It's for one household, it's only about 10 square meters. That's the regular size of the household there. So they don't have, enough space to cook by themselves. They have a very small, how do you call kondo?
Yeah.
But they only boil water and cook rice there. That's the only thing they usually do. And they basically buy food, the side dishes from outside to eat. So they don't cook. They eat,
Actually, if you want to see that, you can. And there's a small museum called Fukagawa Edo Museum in the eastern part of Tokyo. And they have resurrected or rebuilt Nagayas and other buildings as they looked like in the late Edo period. So now that you're mentioning it, I do encourage our listeners to visit that small museum.
That's true. That's interesting.
And you can figure out for yourself. And it shows a couple of stands, a couple of these izakaya stands.
That's true. So there weren't restaurants in Edo at that time. So they basically eat at home. So they buy, in terms of sake, they buy sake at the liquor shop and bring home to drink it. But some liquor shops started to make people drink sake at their store, standing bar style. We call it kakuchi nowadays, and some started there. And after a while, some liquor shops start to serve some delicacies over there, and that's said to be the starting point of izakaya, because the izakaya in Japanese literally means stay in liquor shop, right? I means to stay. So, and sakaya is a liquor shop. So they stay in liquor shop to drink and eat. That's the birth of izakaya. And then actually there is a very, very famous izakaya style liquor shop, which is called Toshimaya, which still exists in Tokyo. I went there the other day, and it was very famous. And there's a picture. The listeners can't see this, but this is the picture of the Toshimaya. And there are so many people around this liquor shop.
Yeah.
So it was very popular. And it's popular that they have served a delicacy called tofu dengaku.
Tofu denkaku.
Tofu dengaku. Tofu is a tofu.
Yes.
People know tofu nowadays, you think? And they put miso on it and bake it with a bamboo skewer, and they still serve it. So if the listener have any chance to come to Tokyo, visit Toshimaya Saketen can be one destination.
And it still exists, actually. Tofu
Yeah,
denkaku.
it's a small liquor shop, but they serve that tofu dengaku over there. It's a standing bar, small.
And there is an equivalent today which comes from Kyoto, where they don't use tofu, but they use gluten as well. But it's the same spirit on a skewer, gluten with miso on it. And I understand it's more a Kyoto dish than a Tokyo dish.
Maybe
But
you are. Yeah, historical Tokyo dishes that uses tofu. Nowadays we use eggplants and konnyaku. Konnyaku is what you mean by the gluten?
no. I mean,
Awafu?
no.
No. If it's
Needed.
namahu.
Namabu.
Namabu? Okay. Yeah,
Namabu.
yeah. They often use that namabu with a misos on it, and maybe they call it dengaku. I don't know if they call it dengaku. They maybe call it namabu with miso namabu.
When I am in an izakaya, I order it as namabu. So
Really?
Namabu is the name of
of the
it
dish.
in Kyoto. Oh, sorry, Mada-san. We actually have someone new who is coming.
So it's just like in an izakaya when someone's late to the party,
That's true. That's true.
Excellent
but
point.
not because they overslept. In the case of an izakaya,
Shame
perhaps.
on you, Chris.
Yeah, so we're joined by big Chris Hughes.
Hello everyone. Nice to be here.
Did you have too much of an izakaya last night?
No, I wasn't drinking last night. I think it's the cold. It's got really cold here in Tokyo, hasn't it? And my room is really cold. So, no, it's not a good excuse. But, I overslept a little bit. But it's great to be here. And I look forward to contributing to this conversation about izakaya.
Looking forward to having you. We were discussing the history of izakaya and how it evolved. Imada-san, you want to conclude or finish? Or have you finished?
Well, I talk enough about the history, I think. So,
Right.
birth of the izakaya. So that's the birth of the izakaya, and that's which is standing bar style or kakuchi style. But we don't call kakuchi or standing bar style izakaya in Japan anymore, usually. So we use that term for another kind of type of restaurant now.
Places
So
where we sit. I think izakayas are
usually-
places where we sit,
Right.
aren't they?
Usually we sit. But there are several types of izakaya as well. So you need some more explanation about that. But izakaya is basically a place where it's not too expensive, basically, and where many people can gather together and have fun, and can be a little noisy compared to restaurant.
I agree. I mean, very often when people arrive in Tokyo, they're very surprised by how quiet subways are, how quiet building elevators are. And it's true that out of respect for others in the street, in common, in
That's
open
true.
places,
That's true.
public places, Japanese people tend to stay
Yeah.
quiet, be on the
And-
quiet side.
And in a restaurant, we are usually quietly eat. in a
Absolutely. I
restaurant,
mean, in
right?
many sushi places in particular, you have very quiet
silent.
moments, very silent moments, and it's part of enjoying the food and concentrating on
Right.
it. But izakayas can
Izakaya
be
is an
completely
exception.
different, and that's where you really see that.
Open up yourself.
Yeah, and I'm a foreigner, so I'm looking at it from the outside. But that's how where you can understand that Japanese people love having a laugh and having fun and making fun of others and making fun of themselves as much as other cultures. And this happens in izakayas a lot, actually.
True.
I think it's stress relief in the case maybe of Japanese culture, right? Because
Yeah.
in the Japanese workplace, it's incredibly rigid. I was quite surprised the first time I actually got to work in a proper company in Japan as part of work experience for a company I was working for in the UK. I was surprised how quiet everyone is in the office. And there's almost a harmony that if anyone dares to disrupt it, you sort of feel like you could get in a lot of trouble. But then when everyone goes out after work at night, they just release all this stress. I mean, I come from a country where drinking is also a big part of the culture. You have the stereotypical view, perhaps, of a British person drinking, and you wouldn't be wrong. But and British pubs are very, very noisy. I can tell you, very, very noisy. It's hard to get a word in edgeways. But yeah, there is something quite different about the culture in the case of Japan. I think it feels like stress relief. That first kampai at the beginning.
Right.
It's
right.
like
You don't do that in Britain?
we don't really do. No, in a British pub, there isn't really a toast. You're trying to get a beer as quickly as possible. Yeah, get that beer and start drinking as quickly as possible. I mean, someone might do a cheers, I suppose, but it's not really common to do
Okay.
it. Yeah, and it doesn't really feel like stress relief. It just feels like continuing.
That's true. Yeah.
the
We
day.
Japanese do kampai. We have to do that.
Yeah, it's the first moment of. I mean, nobody drinks before the kampai.
Yeah, you have to wait
happens.
for.
And it feels like everyone's bottling in this tension and they just can't wait to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And once they're able to get rid of it, I mean, people change. It's quite scary to see in a good way, I think also. But I was
Scary?
quite shocked. Like do I really know these people? They just turn into completely different people once they're drinking. I'm not saying that's necessarily an alcohol thing. I think it really is just kind of that's who they really are. But they weren't able to really show that side of themselves until they walked into this establishment.
Yeah. So we Japanese use izakaya as a like team building place. Very, very important for us.
Everyone lowers their barriers, and there are no more differences between people
And the
due
senior-
to
the seniors.
hierarchy, to their level in the organization, and so a lot happens in izakayas actually.
Yeah, but if you're the lackey, you still have to pour the drinks for the boss, right?
Yeah, that's to start with.
Just sort of, would you say that's maybe in more higher end restaurants and things? I think in the izakaya as well, the business culture continues a little bit, doesn't it?
Maybe.
Maybe.
And we Japanese don't have a culture of doing a home party so much, compared to
that's true.
European or Western people, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
So izakaya is one of the places to do that kind of social.
to meet you with your family and not only your colleagues. That's true, and your friends.
With your friends, not only the colleagues but the friends.
In the French culture, I must say I don't see a real equivalent to izakayas. If you think of a place where you go to for the drink first before a meal, I mean, a bar would be the obvious. A cafe actually would be the obvious place. But then the food culture is fairly limited. In most cafes you will get nuts or sometimes croque monsieur, but it's you don't have the equivalent, I think, in the French culture. So let's imagine that we're arriving in Tokyo and we want to have an izakaya dinner. Where do we start? What's the first step? The first step is to enter the place, and we want to invite all our listeners to never hesitate opening the door and entering the izakaya. You very often, actually, most Japanese restaurants will have a noren. How would you describe and how would you define a noren?
It's like a curtain with a. It's like, the sort of dividers that you have sometimes in restaurants, right? You have those like little bead things in restaurants, don't you? Between the kitchen and the place where everyone's eating, the patrons are. But instead of like little like strings with beads on, it's basically a curtain with a split in the middle. But there are different styles of norin, right?
Yeah.
And I know Imada-san is an expert on this. He was telling me the other day.
But it's usually put in front of the restaurant.
Yes.
And if it's there, it means that the place is open.
Yeah, that's very important. If you
right.
see the noren, you can get in.
Right.
And
It
when
means
the
it's
restaurant
open.
wants to close, they remove the noren and then it's closed. There is no
Right.
point trying to enter.
That's a very important part of it.
Because I guess historically it had a role in keeping some of the dust away and protecting a little bit against the cold or against the wind. But in today's cities, that function has kind of
Right.
disappeared. But it remains a very important symbolic function, sign. Yeah,
As an izakaya.
and it has the name of the place as well on it often.
So you know that this place is called nani nani yasan,
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? And noren can be a cloth and as well as string, as Chris mentioned.
Yes.
That it's different. And the string noren is usually the sign of the very very taishu izakaya, very casual izakaya uses that string noren. We call it nawa noren, and nawa noren is another word for a casual izakaya in Japanese.
Nara noren. What did you say again?
Nawa noren.
Nawa noren.
Nawa is a string.
Yeah, like a rope, isn't it? Like
Rope,
and
yeah.
then the noren is the name of this divider
Yeah.
between the outside and the inside.
Another thing you often see in front of izakaya is a lantern, red lantern,
Right.
right? Which in Japanese is called akachochin. Akachochin is one of the big sign of the izakaya as well. So if you find that big red lantern, that means that's izakaya as well. And it's if the light is on, it means you can enter. If the light is off, it's closed.
So you're there, the noren is there, the lantern is on. So you slide the door open,
Yep.
and then the first thing you do is something with your hand. I think, but that's what I do. Is
Yeah.
using your fingers.
Yep.
You're just showing how many people you are, how big your group is.
Right.
That's the most important information the owner wants to hear from you.
And because doing that, peek, slide the door a little bit, you can see the atmosphere of inside and how clouded the place is. So then you can judge if you can enter or not, right? And if you think you can enter it, you show the number of the people you're
in your
in.
group. Yeah. Yeah.
That's another symbolic role of the noren. It's kind of hiding, keeping the mystery of what's behind. But as you slide the door open, it slowly reveals itself. Which is
It's
always
very
nice.
poetic. in a
It can be
way.
very cool, can't it? You can just sort of slightly see inside, but there's still a bit of mystery there. And you can hear as well. Yeah, very often. As soon as you open that door,
Uh-huh.
you can hear everyone drinking and having
Right,
fun.
right. That the voice comes out
Yeah.
as you open the
Which can
door.
be a little bit intimidating if you've never been to an izakaya before, because like you were saying earlier, it's really quite loud.
Right.
And usually you will be welcome with a very loud
Yes.
cry as well.
Yes.
A big hirashaimase
Yes.
is often what welcomes you.
Correct. And then sometimes there might be an area for you to remove shoes if it's a no shoes izakaya. So then maybe you don't actually get up to the level that the izakaya is on straight away, but you just kind of go up to the genkan area, which is the area where you remove shoes, and then again someone will come over and invite you in. Yeah. To be fair, most izakaya probably that's not going to be the case, but in a lot of chain izakayas that might be the case, right?
Well, it's a new type.
Yeah, in the old days, did they not
Don't
really have?
put off
No,
the
I have.
shoes
Yeah,
usually.
Earthen floor was the norm, yeah. I think.
yeah, that's right.
And then you sit, and the first thing you have to do is order a drink. You don't order food, you order drink first.
Yeah.
First. And before that, they usually, brings you ohashi and otefuki first. Do you know what otefuki is? Can you explain what otefuki is?
Well,
Oshibori or
Oshibori, right? Yeah,
Oshibori.
yeah. So it's like a little towel, which will be a different temperature depending on what the season is. So if it's the winter right now, you would expect to get a warmed towel, and if it's the summer, you would get actually a cold towel. So, basically it's for you to refresh and reset and prepare yourself for this experience.
and wash your hands.
Wash
as
your
well.
hands, yeah, as well, yeah.
And you're actually expected to keep it in relatively good shape. Like you unroll it, you
Yeah.
wash your hand, and you roll it, and you leave it on the side because there won't be any napkins given to you. Sometimes you
Right.
have tissues on the table,
Yeah.
but this will be your napkin for the
Right,
evening.
right. So you have to
keep it.
clean.
I won't say keep it clean because by definition you're using it to clean your fingers or your hands, but it's not something that you would dump in the middle of the table, or you have to keep it next to you and roll.
Right.
That's the
Because some of the delicacies you have to use your fingers
yeah.
to eat it, like edamame.
It gets quite messy.
You mentioned ohashi, but of course ohashi is chopsticks, and after you order your first drink, some food will come, and don't be surprised because most often it's food that you have not ordered.
That's true. That's a very typical, very special,
Yeah.
etiquette.
Well, before the food comes, would you do the kampai first, maybe, before you order the food? What do you think? Or because it always feels like they want to do that kampai as quickly as possible,
as
right?
quickly as possible.
Yeah. So before you order food, someone's probably going to, once the drinks have all arrived.
Yeah. So
right?
so you start drinking first.
Yeah.
You do kampai and start
Yeah.
drinking first.
And
for a while you talk and think about
Right.
the menu.
And what do people order in Japan first, Imada-san, normally for the kampai?
I don't. I don't do
you
that.
will be different.
I'm the exception, but yeah, many people order beer.
There is a phrase in Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Mazu wa
Toriaizu.
toriaizu biru, that's it.
Toriaizu.
Toriaizu biru, which means basically, for the time being, beer.
Beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a long time, Japanese has been doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing that when I was younger.
But you order sake now.
At first,
Yeah.
yeah.
I order a meishu, actually. I like a glass of a meishu on the rocks before I dive into sake. Yeah, but it's still technically in the sake category, isn't it?
I mean, when I was mentioning food that you did not order, I was thinking of the otoshi,
Of course you were.
otoshi
Yes,
culture.
yes,
So there is
yeah.
always a small dish that changes every day,
Yeah.
which was prepared by the chef and is brought to you like you would find bread on a Western restaurant table.
Yeah.
And you have not ordered. You can ask what it is.
Yes.
But it's gonna be given to you. And
Yeah. And it's in the charge. There's a charge for it in the bill at the end. But at least you're getting something for this extra charge. And I think the service that you get in Japanese establishments is on a different level. So I think the fact that you don't have to tip here and you don't have to pay a service charge, to just have this little otoshi is not too bad. It can be a little expensive sometimes, but
too much,
generally
though.
not. Like around about
Less than 1,000
less than
yeah.
1,000 yen. Yeah.
So it's a service charge or
yeah.
entering fee
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And it's going to be like vegetables or some fish, maybe.
It can be anything.
It can be anything, actually.
Some
Yeah.
potato. It depends
Yeah.
on the restaurant izakaya, and it shows how eating that we know that how good is the cook of this izakaya.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
And like potato salad. I mean, I always found that the potato salad tells you a lot about
Right.
the chef and how much attention he puts into what he serves
Yeah,
you.
potato salad is one of the typical menu in izakaya. Yeah?
For me, as a French person, potato salad is really the cheapest dish you get on a restaurant on the side of the road as you travel through France, and
really?
it's usually not something that is highly rated by
Well,
by
in Japan as
consumers.
well.
I live very close to a modern izakaya that does an absolutely amazing potato salad. They've gone out of their way to make their recipe unique and add ingredients that you wouldn't normally add to a potato salad. But yeah, in general, my image of a potato salad is just something very perfunctory, very, very simple, made with just a few ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these days, some chefs makes very, very good
Yeah.
ones, and they change the menu every week or so. So every time you go there, they serve different type of potato salad.
And potato
Yes,
salad can be one of the kanban ryori. Yeah, so kanban ryori is kind of like the signature
Dish
of the place.
of the place. That's
Yeah, but I didn't know that about France. So do you think maybe the potato salad culture came from France then? The Japanese potato salad
I
culture?
have no idea.
Where did they come from?
I mean, there are so many dishes in Japan, so many
Yeah.
styles that come from a different world, but have been developed, refined, improved in the Japanese culture.
That's
And
true.
I think potato salad is one of them.
They really do love potato salad here, and it's always a surprise for my guests when I do tourist experiences. When I one of the dishes is potato salad. That's not very Japanese, but actually it is very Japanese in a way. So when you come here into Japan, maybe go on a little potato salad journey of discovery.
And it's great with cold sake, great with warm
It
sake.
is, yeah.
And
Nigori sake is
and
fantastic with it. Yeah,
so-
true.
Kimoto and potato salad.
Kimoto style with potato salad.
Yeah, Daiichi Kimoto in particular is really good with this potato salad that they serve at this restaurant.
I can't really imagine having matured sake with potato salad.
Oh, but I think it would work if
Really?
you had a more kind of stronger flavored, more interesting. Like if you
Right.
put cheese in the potato salad,
or
or
if you put some sauce on it.
and sometimes they put like things like
Worcestershire sauce.
anchovies or umami based foods in the potato salad. But one word of warning about potato salad, though: don't just assume it's just potatoes and mayonnaise. It might be best to check what's inside it if you have any allergies or anything, because they do like to put random ingredients inside potato
That's
salad.
true,
Nothing
that's
is
true.
kind of out of.
In Japan, it's not really popular to show the allergy kind of thing.
No, though
Yet.
that's a good point. You probably need to make it clear if you have any allergies or food requirements, and don't assume that the place will be able to cater to these. But I mean, I would say with more tourists coming to Japan now, they're trying to do their best to accommodate. But I think you definitely need to make sure, especially allergies, if you have any allergies, you need to make that clear.
I would always recommend visitors to have a list of their allergies
that's
pretty
great
clear and
advice.
extensive, and have it translated, or use pictures or
Yeah.
pictograms,
Yeah.
and have it printed,
Yes.
or on their phone, and show it to the
service
waiter
person.
Agreed.
or waitress, because they will very easily pick it up. And
That would be something that would be really good for them to have. Like when you're in the airport, you pick up a little printed thing, and then you just check all the things that you have allergies for, and then you can give that. Wouldn't that be a great idea to have? I don't know kind of why. I suppose it's
I
not
don't
that
know.
big an issue yet.
Maybe.
But
Well, izakaya owners are usually not too familiar with the foreigners, so
that's true.
It's better to have a big word. I mean,
But it's
right
not,
in a
it's,
big.
it's not
term.
just izakayas, right? I mean, it's all
No,
kind of
no.
restaurants and
True.
where English is not spoken. Also, with regards to menus in izakayas, sometimes you get the handwritten menu, which is in cursive. What would you call it? Cursive Japanese, like very, very like a cursive font, like very, very squirrely, and even. I might be wrong about this, but even native Japanese people have trouble reading these menus sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's handwritten.
Yeah.
In
I mean, it's a nice
casual
touch,
izakaya.
isn't it? It's a nice touch to have. It shows kind of like an extra kind of level of attention to detail or respect for the patrons, I guess, that they've done it handwritten. But so what would you do in that situation if you got one of those menus? I mean, obviously, I suppose you'd ask for an English menu anyway, wouldn't you? But
That's a bit of a challenge. But
Yeah.
what we can do here is list some of the
Yes.
typical dishes, and our listeners can feel safe ordering them. So we mentioned tofu dengaku. So tofu is miso
Yeah.
paste. We
Yeah.
mentioned potato salad. What else do we have? We'll talk about seasonals as well, but you will always
Edamame.
have edamame. It may be frozen or Thai season, but it's a classic. It's a classic.
Yeah, I mean, you can't assume they're going to have it on the menu because I actually have been to a lot of izakayas where they don't do edamame, which is have been quite shocking. But normally
So they have
edamame.
soybeans,
Boiled soybean.
Yeah,
boiled soybeans.
so in the pods, right? Yeah.
Then we have hiyahyako, of course. Hiyahyako.
Yes, which is tofu with some toppings on top, and often in like a ponzu sauce or a soy
Fresh
soy
sauce.
sauce.
Yeah.
Green onion and
Yeah.
dry bonito. on
Yeah.
it.
We have morokyu.
Morokyu,
What is
yes.
morokyu? Do you know what morokyu is?
I know what it is. I know I'm not a fan of
Oh, I see.
morokyu. but-
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
but
cucumber.
kind of like a
It's a
cucumber.
cucumber with miso.
Yeah, with
With
miso.
miso.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Then we have a few things that are a little bit more exotic, I would say, like shiokara.
Shiokara.
Yeah.
So
Shiokara is one
shiokara,
of
you
my
have to know
favorite,
what you're ordering.
I'm definitely not ordering shiokara.
I do. Well, that's my favorite.
It's basically I refer to it as the foie gras of the sea.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would agree with that. but
That's how it kind of tastes or kind of comes across. You know, I know it's not literally.
Did you like it, Sebastian?
I mean, I do like it very much with a drink.
With a drink, yeah.
It
'Cause
has
it's
to be.
salty.
It has to be covered by something because it can be pretty pungent.
Yeah, very salty, right? And the thing is that
Pungent, salty, and fishy.
We discussed
and
this
fishy.
in a previous episode, but shiokara was actually one of the original kind of default side dishes for sake that they used to serve, right? Used to often get paired with sake in old Japan. So even today, it's still a very good sake ate.
So,
Yeah, it's a good side dish.
so
for
what
sake.
is shiokara? Can you explain it?
Yeah,
Shiokara is made of small pieces of squid with some of the squid's guts or inner parts, and it's very salty and it's a little bit fermented. It does ferment with time, so that's why I'm saying they were saying it can be a bit pungent.
Yeah.
and I really think shiokara can vary. Like sometimes it can be super fishy and it's kind of like, you know, it's quite simple. And then other times they use sort of like butter and they use garlic. And then sometimes that can mask, if you're not a big fan of fishy things, that can mask the fishiness. Because I have to say, I mean, I've had shiokara and there have been times I've enjoyed it a little bit. Like I have been able to, you know, get past the most fishy aspect of it. And the fact that it's the guts doesn't bother me, actually, funnily enough. It's just, it's just the fishy
It's
taste.
very good.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they serve shiokara with a hot boiled potato and butter
Yes.
with a
Yeah.
squid. I mean, shiokara is very, very good. It pairs very well with okanzake, I think.
Karaage, I think, is a. It will take a while for them to make karaage. So I wouldn't. One important thing to point out when you're ordering in an izakaya, some of the dishes will take a long time to actually for them to prepare and for them to arrive. So if you're quite hungry, you need to focus on dishes which are cold, things that they probably just have pre-prepared and they can just serve straight away. So things like hiyayako would be great. Edamame. Shiokara as well. Yeah.
Morokyu comes up fast as well.
And then later, for things that are going to arrive later on, then you might order things like karaage, which is fried chicken.
Or dashimaki tamago.
Dashimaki tamago is often, again, one of the kanban yori of the place. Can be.
Yeah, it shows how good the cook is.
Yeah.
So it's basically an omelette, but
it's not an omelette.
It's an omelette, but that is cooked with dashi. So
Yeah,
right,
it's a special dish.
It takes so much. I'm not suggesting that it doesn't take skill to make an omelette, but it takes so much skill to make this particular style of omelette, and many places pride themselves on how soft and fluffy it is.
It is,
and
it's just interesting to see cooks making dashimaki tamago
Like it's
Some
the speed
encounter.
and the speed and the heat. Like it has to be super hot, but they have to keep moving the pan, right? So it doesn't set before you can roll it.
Right.
And I would say even if you don't like omelette, like Western omelette, I think actually dashimaki tamago, it's still worth trying because you might like. It's very very different to omelette.
Then we have itawasa.
Itawasa. That's
Itawasa.
another tricky word, I
Yes.
think. You know, if you listen to itawasa, even Japanese can't imagine what that.
Yeah.
Ita is a board, right?
Yeah.
Wasa is a abbreviation of wasabi,
Yeah.
right? And ita means not a board, but kamakura. Kamaboko. Kamaboko.
Yeah.
So fish cake.
Another
Kamaboko is
fish cake.
So slices of fish cake with a bit of wasabi.
Wasabi.
And soy sauce on it.
Yeah.
It's one of the very typical delicacies, especially if you go to a soba place to drink. Soba place can be, usually you go to soba place to eat soba, but soba place can be used as a good drinking place to start drinking from 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Order some very simple things like itawasa and pair it with 1 or 2 cups of sake.
So we already have 3 categories. We have the Taishu Izakaya, the general izakayas. We have the Oden that we discussed, Oden place. Although you can often order Oden from a Taishu Izakaya as well. You have some places specializing in Oden.
Right.
And we have the soba.
Yeah, so oden is quite in drinking place side, I think, but soba place is more like an eating place for major Japanese people or utility, I think. But as I told, it can be a very very nice place too.
But
a drinking
interestingly, soba restaurants is where sake culture started, right? In originally, like people would, I think, while waiting for their soba, they would often have a little.
Well,
side dish with some
that's
sake.
one of the culture in Edo period.
Yeah.
In Edo period, soba was a kind of street food. It's not a restaurant, but a street food using a cart to move around. So, and they're often seen in a movie or a TV program that they're drinking sake while waiting for the soba. That's true. What about yakitori place? Yakitori place is not a very typical drinking place.
Yes.
Not an eating place, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yakitori is a baked chicken?
It's chicken on skewers, basically.
Chicken on
a
skewers.
variety of different parts of the chicken. Let me emphasize different parts of the chicken. Pretty much anything from the chicken is used, and you can order these different parts of the chicken, and they come on skewers. And you can either choose to have them with salt, or you can have them with a rich sweet sauce.
Yeah, teriyaki kind of sauce.
Teriyaki sauce, yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
And it's quite a number of yakitori restaurants in Japan,
Yeah.
in Tokyo.
I mean, there are some specialist izakayas which are dedicated to yakitori, right?
Right. It's very popular.
Yeah.
And it's cheap. Usually, yakitori place is not so expensive, so you can easily enter without hesitation.
And you basically order by the skewer normally. But sometimes you can get like a dish which is a variety of different parts of the chicken, and you get like maybe one each, so you can kind of easily share with a few people.
That's true.
The last dish I wanted to mention is shirasu daikon.
That's a little difficult one.
That's a difficult one. Yeah, I know roughly what that is. I don't think I've really ever ordered that one myself. Yeah.
Because you don't like fish.
Because I don't like fish. Shirasu is the little silver, the small fish. Is it
small
part of the,
white
the
fish.
sardine?
Baby sardines.
Baby sardine, right?
Very small, eh?
And then,
like 1 or 2 centimeters.
yeah.
Or less.
But you can see the eye and everything. In fact, it's
That's
like
right.
it's the fish, literally just grilled. And then boiled. Sorry, boiled.
Usually boiled.
And then with daikon, right? Which is
daikon
is it
oroshi.
a radish or is it
Radish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely define daikon as a radish.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, it's on not a sliced daikon, but a
Yeah. Oroshi.
oroshi is
Grated.
grated.
Yeah.
And one of the questions about food culture in Japan is seasonality and how seasonality enters the menu. Maybe briefly we can talk about some of the things we have in the four seasons. So, for example, when I'm thinking of spring, I'm thinking of sansai, which are mountain vegetables. So that they bring some bitterness, and that's the sign of spring coming back, actually. I'm thinking of takenoko, which is bamboo shoots, which is a delicacy of spring in Japan when it's fresh. Of course, you can find some all year long, but the fresh takenoko from March or around March is really beautiful. And then we have nanohana, which is rapeseed, which is very seasonal as well from spring.
I love it. That's a coming of the spring for me.
Yeah.
Nanohana.
It brings something new as a flavor to the meal when it happens on the table.
Yeah, spring taste is something a little bitter, right? And it pairs very well with a fresh, sake with some bitterness in it.
True. And then in Japan, fish or fishes will have different names as a function of season or different adjectives next to the name. And spring is about Hatsu Gatsuo, the first katsuo of the year. Katsuo is this bonito red meat or red flesh fish.
Yeah, we call it bluefish in Japan.
You call it?
Really?
We call it bluefish.
Bluefish. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Because the skin is
the skin is a little
silver blue. Yeah.
Right. Katsuo, sanma, iwashi, aji, they're all blue
Oh, I
fish.
didn't realize bonito was a bluefish.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. When we think, what do you think, or what kind of food you have in mind about summer then? I mean, summer is about heat. It's about getting something fresh. So while it's not seasonal, hiyahyako is definitely something
That's
you
true.
order in summer quite a
Yeah.
lot.
And sometimes Izakaya has a cold tomato slice.
Yeah, that's true.
Tomato
yeah.
slice.
Hiyashi
That's
tomato.
Yeah.
And it's the season for sunomono as well.
Yeah.
So fresh vegetable often pickled in not pickled actually,
vinegar.
but served with vinegar and with a vinegar sauce.
That's
Goya from Okinawa,
yeah.
which is a very bitter vegetable. It brings bitterness in summertime, while bitterness of nanohana or sansai has disappeared from the menu.
And
They usually
often mixed with
bake
Yeah.
with eggs and pork. That's goya champuru.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goya
Goya champuru. Yeah.
champuru.
Yeah.
Autumn, the list is really long. So many good things happening in
It's a
autumn.
eating
Mushrooms.
season.
Mushrooms, I think. Lots
Mushrooms,
of
of course.
Shiitake.
Matsutake.
Matsutake. Fish. You've got sanma, right?
Sanma,
Which
yeah.
is
Sanma is Pacific
Sauri,
Sauri.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
something you don't find anywhere else. I mean, I've never. It's very different from anything I have in my seas in France, but it's an autumn delicacy for sure.
And talking about bonito katsuo, in autumn we have a kudari katsuo, which is
Kudari
very
katsuo, yeah.
fatty.
And modori gatsu, how do you?
Modori katsuo, that's the same thing. Modori katsuo and kudari katsuo,
It's the same
Same
word,
thing.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, not different word, but same thing. Yeah.
same thing.
It's to
Very
do with
oily.
the direction they're going in the
Yeah,
river, right? On the
No, that's goes on the ocean, and they go down from the north.
okay.
to
So
the south
they
of Southern
fed on
Ocean.
plankton. They've fed on plankton in the northern seas, and they're coming back to the shores of
And the
Japan.
autumn season, they're very fatty and very good.
Another good fatty fish is salmon, aki salmon.
Aki salmon, akishake,
Autumn salmon is something.
Yeah,
aki
it's another
shake,
famous
as you were saying, is another delicacy. So a very long list, and then about winter. I mean, in winter you tend to see a lot of raw fish raw. On the menu, in particular shirako, and I have to mention shirako because it's almost everywhere in winter season, and you have people who love it, people who don't because of its texture and its look. Shirako is basically cod melt, And
Do you eat that in France?
Not
No?
at all. No,
Okay,
we
okay.
don't. We don't.
Not in the UK either.
Not UK. Not only yourself.
Not only myself, just in general. I think most people coming to Japan from the UK or Europe, that's a new thing for them. Shirako. Yeah.
So it's whitish. It looks like a brain a little bit. It's true.
It does.
True.
It does.
It does look like a brain.
Never
Piece of
thought
brain.
about that.
I
but
mean,
it does.
no, I laugh, but yeah, I mean, that's a good way of. I mean, it's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the fact. But the taste is pretty mild. The texture is interesting, like a custard, like a custard cream,
Yeah.
and it's served with different recipes.
Yeah.
Uh,
You can put it in a hot pot, nabe,
yeah,
or you can boil it and mix it with a vinegar sauce,
vinegar sauce.
which is
You can
another
fry
good one.
it as well.
You can fry it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Speaking of nabe, of course, one of the most popular dishes in the winter is stews and hot pot of nabe as well. Some izakayas might have like a kind of house nabe, which they can serve. They might
In a
do
small
this
pot.
In a small pot, and actually, winter is probably one of my favorite seasons when it comes to izakaya because I really love those kind of like stew dishes. You've got like gyusuji, which is a sort of like beef sinew in a kind of like broth, and buta kakuni, which is basically like pork belly in a rich sauce, often with a little bit of mustard on the side of the dish.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think winter is if you like those kind of things, winter is a great season. But generally, we're talking about warm things, heated things, right?
Yeah. In winter because it's cold.
Because it's very cold. Yeah, like now. I think it's also important just quickly to point out that you can get Western things in an izakaya. So if you just want to order like pizza or you want to order like fries, they have a surprising like. I'm probably talking more about the chain
Yeah, but
izakayas.
it's surprisingly versatile.
Yeah, there is quite
mean,
like even if you don't want
variety,
to, if you don't want to
lots
have
of variety.
Japanese food
Yeah,
necessarily.
it's quite international.
Yeah, even Japanese people will just like order a pizza or something and have it with beer or whatever. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to order all these really traditional, scary Japanese dishes.
I mean, maybe for those who don't know, a few words about how you order the drinks. So
Yeah, that's another thing maybe.
beer may come by the bottle, but often it's draft, and a pint would be chu,
Yes,
and a half pint would be sho,
sure, yeah.
and then sake.
And when you're ordering draft beer, use the same word as you do for unpasteurized sake.
Yes.
Nama.
So namachu, namasho.
or namasho. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unpasteurized middle, unpasteurized small,
Yes.
unpasteurized big.
Yes.
And for sake, it depends on the place, but often when you order one sake, it comes as a glass, which is about 90 milliliters. But if you order ichigo,
Yeah.
means one go, it comes in one
180.
tokuri,
Yeah.
and it's 180.
180. Yeah.
But you can have ichigo or nigo.
Nigo. Yeah.
And it's, with the exception of possibly some premium sake, you usually don't order by the bottle because, as you will see, the izakayas are stocking sake in 1.8 liters bottles, and so they will serve you by tokuri or by a glass.
We rarely order a bottle of sake. at
Just
izakaya, I
sparkling
think.
sake. I think.
Sparkling or
Maybe,
some
yeah,
premium brands.
small
sometimes. Yeah.
bottle.
One thing we haven't mentioned is how would you, if you want to go for good sake, you want to select a place with good sake. It's not always easy to find a place with good sake, and you should not assume that because it's an izakaya you will have great sake or a great diversity of sake. I mean, the best, of course, is to check the menu if you can, if the menu is available outside the place, and have an idea or try to figure out what the sake list looks like. Another sometimes sign but I try to use it from far is when you see a big sugidama, a big cedar bowl hanging from the eaves. What do you think?
And bottles outside. I find that places that have a good sake selection almost want to show it off. So they might put like the empty bottles of the sake outside, or they might put like the maikake, which are the aprons, or happy coats or the barrels with the insignia of the sake breweries on
yeah.
there. Now, if you're not that familiar with sake still, then that might not help too much. But I think if you see like lots of bottles outside, or you see like lots of what look like, sake barrels, I think generally the place is going to have quite a good sake menu. But I don't really know. I can't really think of any other way of checking apart from going in and asking, to be honest.
And you will never lose your time, and it's going to be a good experience. What is really fascinating to look at in a small traditional izakaya is the interaction between the people and between the people and the owner, the chef.
Yeah.
There is a very friendly relationship developing, and of course I relate that to the Japan traditional culture of Japan, which is that you often visit the same places, and you create that bonds, that relationship, visit after visit,
Right.
And you're expected to be faithful to your
And some
izakaya.
people even have a bottle with their name on, right? So we're probably talking more about shochu than sake maybe, but some people will, if they can't finish a full like 1.8 liter bottle, they will have their name written on it, and then when they come back to the izakaya, it's there waiting for them to order again.
Basically for the shochu.
Yeah, I think it's
And
more
whiskey,
shochu,
I
isn't it?
think.
I've never
Yeah.
seen it for sake, because obviously the sake won't necessarily keep maybe as long, and whiskey as well. But I think, just to answer that question, I think like the sugidama actually, I think is the best way to find a place that has a good sake selection, because I think with very few exceptions, I think most places that hang a sugidama outside are really have a respect for sake and have put effort into their sake menu. I don't think there would be many exceptions to that rule, because most places that don't have a good sake menu probably wouldn't even know what a sugidama is, right? But also, and this is more of a modern way of doing it, but you can go on Google Maps now, and a lot of places actually put up their menu. And if you look at the photographs that people have put up as well, and often if it has a good sake menu, there you'll see bottles, lots of sake bottles, and you can check that way as well.
Actually, JSS is now preparing a izakaya map where the foreigners can easily enter, and
Awesome.
it's gonna be released early spring, I think. So if we make that kind of thing, that's gonna help
Wonderful.
people.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing it.
Our prayers are
Me as
answered.
well.
And I mean, as an illustration of what I was saying, I tend to go to the same places very often. But because I love their style, I love their food, I love their sake. But this relationship that you build is important. It's part of
That's very important.
part of the experience of it.
Yeah, sake lovers usually have one or two regular
Yes.
izakaya to visit.
Yeah.
I do mine. Yeah, and the relationship between the owner and the guest, and together with the other customers, is very, very nice. Warm atmosphere for me.
So, thank you very much for your time today, gentlemen. It's been
It's time for shime.
time for shime,
Which is
which is an important ritual as well at the
Yes.
end of an izakaya meal.
the last dish that izakayas will specialize in the shime. So it could be anything really. Maybe a bowl of rice, rice with tea mixed in, which is called the chazuke. But yeah, it could be anything really.
We're looking forward to welcoming our visitors to Japan, to izakayas, to sake culture, to Japan's drinking culture. And it's really part of what you will find here. And I'm looking forward to seeing the GSS map of
Yes.
izakayas
And
as well.
exploring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Does that involve a lot of drinking? I bet it does, doesn't it?
You have to go and test the places. And that will do it for this episode of Sake on Air. Please take a moment to review and rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you enjoy the show. Feel free to send your questions and comments to questions@sakeonair.com or at Sake on Air on Instagram and Facebook. You can also find us and find our shows on YouTube. We'll be back with more Sake on Air in just 2 weeks, and until then, kampai. Right to the credits.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Sake on Air. We will be back with a new episode very soon, but in the meantime, please take a moment to review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. As always, send your questions and comments to questions@sakeonair.com or reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at @sakeonair. Don't forget that we have a YouTube and a Substack as well. Sake on Air is made possible with the generous support of the Japan Sake and Shochu Makers Association and is broadcast from the Japan Sake and Shochu Information Center in downtown Tokyo. It is produced by Export Japan, and our team is Shuso Imada, Justin Potts, Arlene Lyons, Cindy Bissig, Chris Hughes, Chris Pellegrini, John Gottner, Marie Nagata, Miho Ota, Rebecca Wilson-Lai, Sebastian Juan, and me, Frank Walter. Until next time, kampai!